Hello, universe, and welcome to my review for Oblivion, starring Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman, Olga Kurylenco, and Andrea Riseborough. Okay, so here's the gist of the picture. It is post-Alien Invasion 2077. The backstory that leads to that is that in 2017 there was an alien attack on Earth's moon. As a result of it and its destruction, the destruction of Earth's moon, it sent the Earth into a spiral of natural disasters, including tsunamis and earthquakes and that wiped out a huge portion of the population and made Earth long-term uninhabitable. The humans did fight back against the alien force and defeated them, but still Earth was not able to survive, and there are certain areas of Earth that are filled with radiation that you cannot go to. It's too dangerous. So for the most part, the remaining part of humanity had mind erase so that they would not suffer from all these, mental issues that are the emotional turmoil of having to be relocated and, missing Earth and such. And the remaining population of Earth was relocated to a moon of Saturn called Titan. What remains on Earth is these drones that are there to protect against any potential remaining alien forces that may try to come and consume the resources of Earth, because apparently what I'm gathering from the story is that the leaders of humanity are trying to salvage the resources that are left on Earth that they can take with them to Titan to help keep the Earth, or to help Titan get a new start as the new Earth, quote unquote. The limited number of humans that remain on Earth are techs that are making sure, they're essentially military, that are supposed to be making sure that the drones that are there to protect Earth from alien forces, that the drones stay active, okay? So the crew that this focuses on is Jack, played by Tom Cruise, and Victoria, played by Andrea Riseborough. Jack is the tech, and Victoria is not really his wingman, but more of his mission control sort of support, even though there is a mission control voice named Sally that helps to monitor things around them and such like that. So anyways, what happens is that in the opening we discovered that there are a couple of drones that have gone off the grid and are missing. So Tom Cruise goes and finds one of them, and he repairs it and gets it back up and running. He gets the second one, and he ends up discovering what looks like the ship has been the drone has been kept in this weird, has gone down into this cavern of some kind, and it's just got a questionable situation. He gets it back up and running, but Tom Cruise goes to investigate this cavern of sorts at one point, gets knocked out, and wakes up. Wait, is that the hell what happens? My brain's farted a little bit here. Oh, no, okay, wait, so he gets the drone back up, and ultimately discovers this beacon that seems to be leading to a certain area of the planet that's got radiation poisoning where you're not supposed to go. It's got overrun with radiation, and you're not supposed to go. Well, Tom Cruise decides to go off and discover where this beacon is coming from, and ultimately discovers this ship with, was it 5 people? That are basically in a catatonic state. He's only able to rescue one female before there is a massive explosion or attack, because what happens is that the drones from Earth are sent there for some reason and start attacking where he's at, and he's not able to get them to stop in time, and they destroy this whole ship and these 4 remaining people outside of the one person that Tom Cruise is able to save. So he gets this woman back to the base with Victoria, and the woman, her name is Bree, it's the character's name, and she seems familiar with Tom Cruise's character for some reason. The way she looks at him and such, and so it's like, who is this person? You know, why does she seem familiar with Tom Cruise? And of course, he's had a memory wipe, so he doesn't know what's going on. They discover that she's been in what's called Delta sleep, which is, I guess, certain members of humanity were, I don't know, put in some kind of a form of stasis, essentially, for a period of time after the attack. And so what happens is that Bree ends up. I remember it was the flight box, like, you know, having a plane. Her flight box is the only thing that she thinks has survived as a result of that attack of the drones, and she tells Tom Cruise, "You need to know what it says on there. It will change your opinion of things." And he says, "You know, I don't know what you're talking about. She ultimately convinces him to do it, but Victoria is very apprehensive and doesn't want Tom Cruise to get involved with this woman because they really don't know anything about her. They think she thinks she could be an alien. So Tom Cruise Jack chooses to go with Bree to retrieve this flight box, and as a result encounters this underground colony led by Morgan Freeman. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Bree is Morgan Freeman's character. I'm sorry. Olga Kurylenco's character is a character named Julia. So Julia is the woman that Tom Cruise saves from this ship with these 4 other people that are destroyed. Bree is the leader of the underground movement of people that apparently are humans that are, you know, hiding for some reason. And Morgan Freeman says, "You need to know the truth, and you'll find the truth in the radiation area or whatever it is of the planet. You need to go there and investigate." So Tom Cruise sets off in this mission with Bree against the advice of Victoria to try and find out what's really the situation. What they find out ultimately is, and I'll try and push ahead here if I can, is that Julia is actually, and spoiler alert, Julia is actually Tom Cruise's wife from, you know, pre-2077. In 2017, apparently, she was put in what's called Delta sleep with these other people. Tom Cruise and Victoria were shot out into space with these 5 people that were in, you know, Delta sleep. I'm not entirely sure why they were in Delta sleep, but they were to go and investigate what was going on the moon. And as a result of this thing that was going on up there, Tom Cruise and Victoria decided to, well, Tom Cruise, Jack's character, and Victoria decided to release the pod that had these 5 people in Delta sleep back towards Earth because they thought they were going to be destroyed. So they launched them back towards Earth, and for some reason they didn't go into Delta sleep. Now this was 60 years ago. So it's 2017 when the people who were in Delta sleep were pushed back towards Earth, and one of them was Tom Cruise's wife. And now it's 2077, 60 years later, and Tom Cruise and Victoria haven't changed a stitch. So the question is why? So we find out with a conversation with Julia and such that basically they revisit their home, and Tom Cruise's memory from the past is slowly revealed, and he finds out that Julia is his wife and all these things. And ultimately discovers that he himself is actually one of 1,000+ clones of the original, I think it's Jack Harper, that was actually created by the alien force. So that in fact what happens is that Earth was devastated by the destruction of the moon, but instead of the remaining population of Earth being transitioned to Titan to restart, the little amount of population of the world that remained went underground to hide from the aliens, and the aliens just started consuming every resource possible on Earth. And they basically lied to, they created these clones of Jack and Victoria to assist them because they were these, fantastic, very talented astronauts, and they used clones of these two people to help control their drones on Earth and make sure that they were up and running so they could continue to rob resources from Earth. What they didn't count on is the pod that had been ejected down into Earth 60 years later being discovered by Tom Cruise, or by Jack, and ultimately, the revelations of what really went down, happening. It's a little bit confusing. I mean, it's a kind of one of those movies you have to see, and I think you have to see it more than once. I happened to see it once today when it opened. It's not a bad film, and ultimately, the character of Jack, while he starts to regain memories. I suppose what happened is, as a result, they cloned Jack, but they could not wipe out, I guess, his complete subconscious. So all the clones still have memories from Jack's past that haven't been completely eliminated from him. It's a storyline. It's a little bit like Steven Spielberg's AI or something, even though not exactly. So anyways, it's very futuristic, definitely a sci-fi. I don't think you can call any sci-fi not action. Most sci-fi is action, although there is a lot of dialogue and sort of, a lot of beautiful scenery in the picture. But ultimately, Jack makes a choice of what he has to do in order to try and get back to being happy and knowing what it's like to really live. I won't tell you any more than that. Go see the film. Really, it's not a bad film by any means. It is some movie you need to kind of see to try and get into the specifics of it, of what exactly happens. But essentially, there's this, what I'm trying to get to you is that Earth was dominated by an alien force that's trying to rob natural resources, and while you believe the humans have relocated and repopulated a new world and they're trying to start over, and that they defeated the aliens, in fact, there's a whole cover-up involving a mission that happened 60 years prior when the original attack occurred in 2017. So go see it if you're into sci-fi. I think this is definitely a sci-fi type of film. Let's talk about the talent in it. I think Tom Cruise did a pretty good job in it, actually. Tom Cruise as Jack was very strong in his particular role. I wouldn't say, this is, Top Gun or anything kind of quality. It's sci-fi, so it has a certain niche of people that will probably be very into it, or not. I don't know sci-fi that well, but I think that it will have a certain audience that will really like it. The performances by everybody were, Tom Cruise and, Morgan Freeman. Seems like Morgan Freeman is like the wise god or ethereal presence in every movie possible. Like, I just want him to live with me or something. I mean, and he was the intelligent prisoner. I mean, Morgan Freeman's a great actor. But he keeps playing God for some reason. I guess they're trying to tell him something. Maybe he is God. He doesn't know it. But anyway. Morgan Freeman's strong enough in it. There's really not a lot of, intense emotional acting that's required by anybody except for Tom Cruise's character as Jack in this. And I think Tom Cruise pulls it off, solidly. I wouldn't say it's, Oscar caliber performance, but I don't necessarily know in this kind of a film if you could have gotten an Oscar caliber type of performance with it. It was a lot of action, and a lot of sort of and what's and what happened to Earth and who are the aliens and all that kind of stuff. Performances were pretty strong, though. I would say on a scale of 5 stars, I would probably give the performances a 3.5. I think I think direction wise, I think the director, and why didn't I look up the name of the director in this film? I didn't think about looking up the director. I'll try and see if I can put his name in the tags. But the director did a pretty decent job. He leads, obviously, the story, and then hires the right person to do his cinematography and take the shots he wants. And I think that he did a pretty good job of that. This kind of a film can be very, very confusing. And while my description of it's, definitely on that end, I don't think that he made it overly confusing to where you couldn't understand what was happening. In the end, I think he did get across the story and what was happening. So the director did a pretty good job. I would give the direction out of this probably a good 4. Some of the emotional stuff I think could have been handled a little bit better, but I also think he's working in a very difficult realm. Science fiction is not commonly an overly emotional or enlightening type of genre in any other way other than a tech way, at least not by my experience. And I think that he handled the emotional aspects of Jack's character and his revelations. I think he handled them pretty well. So I would say about a 4 on the scale of direction. Cinematography. This is probably the part where I think the film stood out pretty well. Really well done cinematography. I'm sure there was a lot of CGI involved, but the shots of true landscapes that were shot were actually really well done, and I think the cinematography is really strong in this picture. I'd probably give that a 4.5. That's probably my favorite thing about the whole film is the cinematography. Story's not bad. Story's interesting. The script, I can't really tell you anything really majorly bad about the script. It's just not something that for me, and I'm a non-sci-fi person, so for me to like the script for something like this, is a good thing because I don't commonly get into sci-fi that much. I saw it because I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise. Well, I would say that the script was fairly solid. I mean, was it perfect? No, I don't think it was perfect. There probably could have been some things that were tweaked here and there in the realm of sci-fi that sci-fi geeks would definitely be able to say, no, that's wrong. But I'm a non-sci-fi person, and I just went to enjoy it as a film with Tom Cruise in the lead role and Morgan Freeman, or I'm sorry, God, in his role, because I'm a fan of both of those actors. I mean, Morgan Freeman. I joke about the whole God thing and everything, but Morgan Freeman is just a tremendous performer with a great presence, and he and Tom Cruise working together in a film, to me, that's a really solid film. But anyways, back to the writing. The writing, I would say, is probably about a 4 in the story. Like I said, I think it could have probably been a little bit better. Maybe 4.25. I'd say 4.25 for the writing. So it was pretty well done overall. Writing wise, let's see. Music had some really good moments to it. I didn't think the music was bad at all. I think I'd probably say the music was around a 3.5 probably. I mean, it wasn't anything remarkable and memorable, but there was some good music. It was, I think, fairly appropriate, and then little flashbacks of a great song from our modern generation. Which I can't tell you the name of the damn song. I've heard it before, but I don't know the name of the song. But I think very appropriate for the genre, and something that continued to build suspense when it needed to, and gave us moments of enlightenment and peace and all that sort of stuff. So I think the music was pretty solid. I mean, overall, I wouldn't say the movie was bad. If it was on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, I think I'd probably rank this film in the 3/4 to 4 stars. I'm not a huge sci-fi guy, so the fact that I enjoyed it all, I think, says a lot about it. I'm gonna go for so I'm not wishy-washy. Let's just say it's a 4. I would say it's a 4. Not, not a great film, but definitely a very strong sci-fi film. So if you're into sci-fi, go check it out. Oblivion, starring Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman, Olga Kurylenco, and I can't believe I got that one out all right, and and Andrea Riseborough. Really strong. Overall, the acting is not something that you should be overly caught up on or expecting anything major from, just because it's. I don't know that it's a lot about the character. Well, it is about the character, but how do I put this? I don't believe that the performance was nearly as important in the creation of the film in certain aspects outside of the Jack character as, getting the story across of what was happening to Jack and what he was discovering, if that makes sense. So Jack is definitely key, but I don't think that you're going to find that the performances are going to make you go, oh my God, Oscar. But I definitely think solid performances from everybody and what they had to do in the flick. All right, so that is my review of Oblivion, starring Tom Cruise, Morgan Freeman, Olga Kurylenko, yes, and Andrea Riseborough. Feel free to leave your comments or video replies below. I'm sure someone will tell me what I said wrong, names I mispronounced in this film. Not intentional. If I did, don't shoot me. Well, I guess you can, but you'd have to find me. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great night. Enjoy the world. That's what it's here for. See ya!